there is much of the ground war left in Ukraine. But I do think this is a very protracted conflict, and I think it's at least measured in years. I don't know about decade, but at least years for sure.
This war could continue for a long time, but the United States will continue to stand with Ukraine and the Ukrainian people in the fight for freedom. And I just want you to know that.
So here are some questions no one seems willing to answer or even ask. How long and how much are Americans expected to sacrifice for this war? And what, if anything, is the administration doing to shorten that window? Here now is Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Davis, a senior fellow at Defense Priorities. Colonel, I was shocked that more wasn't made of Milley's comment. I mean, the guy who couldn't commandeer a removal of individuals or troops from Afghanistan now is saying it's definite that it's going to be years, not months. Definite.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that really caught me by surprise, because I don't know what he's basing it off of. I mean, when you look at actually the forces, and people are already talking about how Russia is being to the end of their power, like they're going to wonder if they can even make it through a month. And now he's talking about years. I don't really understand that. But what I am even more concerned about is that there doesn't seem to be a lot of focus on we need to look out for the primary interest of the United States and our security and our prosperity going forward. And that does not include extending the war out as long as possible. It involves helping the Ukrainian people defend themselves, and we've done so much of that. But we need to be working to help get this to a resolution, because we're going to continue to pay a price. Europe is going to continue to pay a price. The longer this goes, the sanctions that bite on Russia are going to have blowback on us, and we don't need that.
Now,
that doesn't help us.
Here's some so-called military experts, and this is how they're framing the involvement in the Ukraine war on other networks. Watch.
We got to think carefully, but this is basically fairly modest support. A couple of $2 billion in a month. At the peak in Iraq, if I can remind people, we were spending $9 billion a month. We need to get going.
I don't even know what to say. They talk about this money like it's literally growing on trees. Where do we get this money? We print it, we borrow it from countries like China, who then benefit because we have to pay them interest, and then they give support to Russia, who then brutalizes the people of Ukraine. So what we're doing is perpetuating this violence, because anything we do to support China is going to ultimately help Russia here. Nobody wants to talk about the China thing. I've been talking about it for a month.
It is, yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I was actually talking about that myself, even in the months before this happened, that was going to be a risk. But it almost seems like these people are talking about ways to extend this and to make it go like they're searching for ways to spend more money instead of searching for ways to protect America better and to get the war over quicker. That's not even in the conversation, which I find problematic.
Well, former Ukrainian President Poroshenko was on another network today, and he said very adamantly that the way to shorten this war and to bring it to a conclusion is for the United States and or Western allies to send more weapons, including more anti-tank weaponry, more tanks and so forth, into Ukraine, and as fast as they can. He was pleading on this other network. Do you agree with that?
No, not in the least, because all these people who are talking about all these weapons, they don't have a strategy. They can't show you how is this going to succeed.
Well, they did slow Russia down quite a bit, didn't they? With the weapons they had.
Yes, they have.
Well, they pushed them back out of
with what they have. They've slowed them down. They didn't push them back. Russia just chose to move because that's actually putting Ukraine at more risk down there. There's not a path to victory here. So you can put more weapons in, you're going to get more people killed, but there's just not enough to turn the tide, because Ukraine needs a whole new kind of formation, and they just aren't going to get it with weapons.
The images and the pictures and the human suffering, it is just an absolute heartbreak.
It's horrific,
Lieutenant Colonel Davis, thank you.